How we doing, guys?
What's up, Ben?
How's it going?
Well,
Ben.
going well.
How you doing, Dan?
I'm excellent, thank you. How are you?
Doing great. Happy Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday already?
It is. It's Wednesday, my dudes.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
A good call. I'm gonna open up the main stage chat. Unless you already did it.
It's open.
Perfect. Should we get started?
Yep.
Okay.
Ready to roll.
Recording on? Yep. Yep.
Okay, good. It's afternoon or late morning here in South Florida, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever everybody is today. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I want to open up the AMA by starting with an apology for Sunday. I was traveling over the weekend, and we had planned for a 5 o'clock AMA East Coast time. My flight was supposed to land at about 1 o'clock, and we got delayed and then diverted for weather, and it became clear to me about an hour before the AMA was supposed to start that I was not going to get back in town. So I apologize to all of you that were there on Sunday, and I hope to be able to deliver a lot of the same content today. And it's actually even more relevant today with everything that's going on in the market. And I think that's a good place for us to really start the conversation. I'm sure it's at the top of everybody's mind. What's going on in the world of crypto, in the world of NFTs. And I'm pleased to say that I have a lot of information on that. Personally, I've been a long-term investor in a few very large crypto and Web3 funds run by some of the smartest people that I know and respect in the world. And it just so happened that yesterday was one of the fund's biannual or semi-annual meetings for their investors. So I got a ton of information relating to the market, which I'm going to really open up this AMA with. So let's start with crypto. According to the experts, and I have multiple sources on this, we are almost certainly entering another crypto winter. This isn't anything new. This is part of the cycle of the market. I've spoken about this in earlier conversations, the notion that there's always chaos before there's order. And if you look at the history of the world, if you look at the history of civilization, if you look at the history of the development of major cultural and sociological shifts, it always happens. You had the Wild West before you had order in the western part of the United States. You have revolutions before you have stability. And we're going through the same thing. Web3 is truly a revolution. It's going to change the fabric of our society globally as we know it. And so the currencies that drive this revolution are in flux, and there are a lot of reasons for it, which I'll talk about. But the general consensus is that we are entering a crypto winter. We don't know for how long. But what we do know is that at least the conventional wisdom is that we have not hit the bottom, that it moved very fast and furious. And the general consensus is that the indication that we will have bottomed out is when the world has declared crypto dead. And then at that point, we will see a massive turnaround and bounce back in the same way that if you look at the charts, we've done in the past. History repeats itself. This is no different. And what I can tell you is, I spent over an hour and a half yesterday on the phone with these guys, showing us the fundamentals underlying these currencies. They're pretty incredible. The strength of the Bitcoin and the Ethereum network is greater than it's ever been before. The number of wallets that are holding these currencies is bigger than it's ever been before. the number of transactions on the Ethereum network is larger than it's ever been before. The conviction of the holders based on how long the average wallet is holding Ethereum and Bitcoin is greater than it's ever been before. The fundamental data points that indicate the both stability and growth of the foundational tokens is off the charts, and yet this market is tumbling. The reason that it's tumbling is because there's a lot of noise. That noise is driven from several major events. The first one is Terra Luna, which was an algorithmic stablecoin that was flawed in its foundation. That flaw was exploited, and that project collapsed. That followed by Celsius, which is a lending platform that locked its doors, essentially not allowing people to make a run on their bank, has created massive concerns. In the NFT space, Axie Infinity's collapse, largely driven by a flawed economic model, which we've seen across many of these projects, in which their tokens, their in-game transactional and their governance tokens, have no cap, which means that they can print money endlessly into oblivion, which ultimately caught up to them and other similar projects. All of these things have created massive losses for the constituents that were a part of these projects, and created a lot of noise within the space. Also, this noise driving the value of these currencies downwards has created pressure, which has triggered margin calls and further forced sales, both across NFTs and across these currencies. So that's what's happening. I don't want anybody to interpret this as investment advice, because it's not investment advice. I'm just sharing kind of insider knowledge that I have from some of the smartest people that I pay attention to. And I think the conviction that everybody has is this is just a cycle, and it's a buying opportunity for people that want to enter the market. I don't think you can time the market, and therefore I personally go in at various inflection points. I've been accumulating. I buy every day. I have a standing order in both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and 4 other tokens that I think are quite have the potential to be quite valuable. I buy every day, regardless of where the market is at, and occasionally I'll come in and make larger purchases based on where I think the discrepancy is in the fundamentals and the real market. And this is a point of inflection there. I do think, and smart money thinks, that the market could continue to go down. I think we can see Ethereum drop under $1,000 temporarily and then eventually pop back up to its prior levels. I think we can see Bitcoin break 20,000 as well, but nobody knows. And I personally am not concerned, and I hope most of you are not either. I think most people that are truly committed to Web3 see the vision, understand the significance, don't really pay attention to the market. Having said that, the market does have somewhat of an impact in the short run for us and others. In the NFT market in particular, NFTs represent 45% of all transactions on the Ethereum blockchain today. Therefore, they do have an impact on the price of ETH, and ETH has an impact on the NFT market. You are seeing that today in a variety of different ways. One, most projects have stalled and just can't get out. This is no different than the collapse in the financial markets that shut down the IPO market for even the best companies in the world. They just don't go public when the market is down. And they don't go public because there aren't buyers, even if they're a blue chip project. And the same thing is happening today. We're seeing a shift from trying to drop mints for money to giving them away. And that's really the only way some of these projects can actually get out. And it's unfortunate, but it's what it is. We're also seeing a flight to quality. So you're seeing a collapse in a lot of these projects that have no utility, that are basic PFP projects, that were projects that were driven by FOMO, and really have no substance. Those are all going to zero, and we're seeing a flight to quality corresponding to that, right? So the blue chips, although they're not going to zero, they have taken a beating. I've done a little bit of analysis just to kind of get a sense of what's going on, and I think it's interesting just to make the following observation. When you look at blue chips, and when I talk about blue chips, I'm talking about kind of the leading projects, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, Other Side, Other Deed, which is the land, the metaverse play associated with Bored Ape, Doodles, Clonix, projects like that. Those projects in large part, and I'll just use Otherworld as an example, on an absolute basis, meaning on an ETH to ETH basis, in the last 30 days, most of these projects have lost 60 to 70% of their value from their peak to their trough on the floor. So in the case of Other Deed, in May, you couldn't buy a piece of their land for under 6 ETH. Today, the floor is hovering around 2 ETH. So it's down 2/3. On a relative basis to the US dollar, these projects have been crushed. So on a relative basis, that 6 ETH at $2,000 an ETH was $12,000 to buy a piece of land in Otherworld. Today, you can buy a piece of land for 2 ETH, where ETH is trading at a little over $1,000. So on a relative basis to the dollar, these projects have dropped by 80 to 90%, creating, I think, an interesting opportunity for people to enter these projects when they were otherwise unaffordable. I think that there's still downward pressure, and people are waiting on the sidelines to see the underlying tokens, specifically ETH and Bitcoin, stabilize before they re-enter the market. But they are hovering around these levels, at least if they're blue chips. The really nice thing about our project is that we are as stable as you can get. Obviously, we have no control over the relative market because Ethereum is so large, and we have no impact on the price of Ethereum. But our absolute price is hovering around 0.4 to 0.43, signaling that there is just a strong foundation of owners with conviction, which is a real testament to our brand. I think holding our floor in the current market conditions is just a major statement that will attract a growing community. It will attract VCs. It will attract a lot of attention to our project. And so there's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy around that, and we are talking to ourselves right now. But when you see something like that, you really have to kind of step back and say, what's going on here? Because we're operating in such a contrarian perspective to the rest of the market, even to the blue chips. And it's just very comforting to our community and to myself and to the people that are really looking at what we're doing. And it's just a huge testament to what we've created. So we couldn't be more thrilled internally. And it's going to have a significant impact on the value of our project going forward, because when you can demonstrate that you can withstand the climate that we're in and still have a strong fundamentals, I think that means a lot. So I wanted to share that with you. Also, I wanted to congratulate our team and the community on achieving the blue check mark and the certificate of authenticity on OpenSea. It's a really big thing. It took a long time for us to get there. They finally recognized us, and we're thrilled to have that. And I think that's going to have huge implications in terms of our value going forward. Up until yesterday, I think, or the day before, we were, for the last 30 days, both in 24 hours and 7 days, the leading project, the number one sports project in the sports category in the world on OpenSea, which is, again, a huge thing. There are hundreds of sports-related NFT projects, and to be number one and holding that position has been pretty significant. I think that we will end up being getting to the point where we are the leading project in the sports category over time, and we'll kind of pass the entire pack at some point once we once certain things start developing. So I'm looking forward to that. And to me, that's a big KPI. It's a big testament to who we are, how people perceive us, how we rank relative to the rest of the world. And most importantly, by being up there, we have a lot more visibility within the NFT community, which will drive more people to our project. All right, let's get through some just a few tactical things that I want to address. I'm told that most of the support tickets that have been in the system have been processed and addressed. I hope that to the extent that your ticket was in there, that it was taken care of. You know, we continue to see people being scammed within the NFT world, not on our platform, thankfully. And we try to kind of review everything on a case-by-case basis and try to accommodate the community. If you've been a longtime member of our community and were a victim of a scam, we have a whole department set up to help you through that and to be supportive as best as we can. And we review things on a case-by-case basis. The community, our community, is everything to us, and we want to make sure that everybody's kept safe, that their assets are kept safe. Every time I get on these AMAs, I reinforce that to everybody. Do not click on links that sound too good to be true, because they're not. And even in our own Discord, we still continue to see bots coming after our members. Just ignore them, turn off your DMs, and please communicate that with the rest of the community. That's all I have to say about that. There were questions that were brought up around our DAO, so I want to bring you up to speed on that. We've hired and we've been engaged with a specialty boutique firm in the Web3 space that this is all they do. They have a division. It's a large global firm with a very deep-rooted in Web3 and in crypto. They're managing the formation of our DAO. We're still in the process. We shifted from Wyoming to Delaware, which is where we will be forming it. And that was largely a shift that was decided on because the laws pertaining to DAOs in Delaware are much more mature. There's a lot of case law that is already mature. So we understand kind of how the regulatory environment operates, and we were guided that that's the better place for us to set up the DAO. So that's in the works. We'll continue to update you guys on when it is actually formed. And once it is formed, we will be funding the DAO and shifting over all of the flow of revenues, royalties, etc., into the DAO as opposed to directly into the Game of Silks. We've also set up our corporate account in a large, secure exchange. And I believe that we've relocated all of the capital that was sitting in our temporary wallet for the Game of Silks to this secure exchange. So I believe that transition was taken care of already. We get royalties. They don't come every day, but when they do come, they will now be getting swept into the exchange account. So to the extent you're paying attention, we just want to make you aware of that. When we talk about the DAO until it's formed, we talk about it loosely. Once it is formed, you'll be able to access the bylaws. We'll be working on governance and all of that stuff to formalize it and to formalize how it's going to operate. So more to come on that. And again, just wanted to share that with you. That brings me to really driving into our 4 KPIs, which is everything that our team is doing right now. To remind everybody, we have approximately 50 people working full-time on the project, both in-house and outsourced agencies, development shops that are supporting us. I will start I'll start by recapping the 4 areas of focus that are our critical path. They include the growth of our community, the ethos of delivering value to our community, our minimum viable product and the launch of our platform, and our capital requirements and raising capital. Those are the 4 areas that we are all maniacally focused on, and I'll start by deep diving into our community growth. I'll start with our timeline so that everybody understands the actual timeline to our critical path. And it starts with where we're sitting today. Over the course of June and going into the first week of July, our plans are to finalize the optimization of our messaging within our brand, the rebuilding of our website into a more simplistic website that really represents the holistic nature of what we're doing, not just our avatars, but the entire project and story, and a website that really can navigate a new entrant into our world and into our community in a thoughtful way, that with a call to action that allows them to mint an avatar from our new collection. So there's a lot of e-commerce being built. There's a lot of simplicity, storytelling, rebranding being done, and that will hopefully, our target is to have this all up and ready to go for our marketing campaign sometime within the first or second week of July. That's kind of our 30-day critical path. Beyond that, the next 60 days from that point on is an aggressive marketing campaign that includes paid advertising, community outreach and collaboration, and a variety of other things to grow our community, sell through the balance of our avatars. And we're targeting to turn that on in the end of the first or second week of July. And once that goes live, we will start an aggressive campaign to continue to build our community. So you'll start seeing our Discord get very, very active with new members, our avatar collection grow, and all of that's going to take place. During this period, this 30-day period, we're working on pricing, we're working on format, we're working on a variety of other things that we'll share with you as we finalize our thinking around this. As I've talked to all of you, we will also be, we're preparing a survey, focus groups, all of these things are going to happen over the course, at least the preparation and the finalization of this will happen over the course of the next 30 days. We're very, very thoughtful and meticulous about everything that we do. So we don't want to just put things out there without having the right partners involved, leveraging the right people, the right agencies to really help this come to fruition. So it may seem a little slow to you. It's not slow at all. We're moving 1,000,000 miles an hour. Everybody is somewhat impatient in a fast-moving market, and we understand that, but we want to be very careful. We have an incredibly valuable community and a very valuable proposition that we want to roll out in the right way. So look to the next 30 days to start seeing the launch of that campaign. And that will take us through the end of August. Our hope is that by the end of August, we've completed the growth of our community to 2 to 3 times where it's at right now. And that will move us to September. Towards the end of September, we anticipate the drop of our inaugural drop of our yearling crop, our first yearling crop. That is still on target for the end of September. And then we will be releasing our MVP, our minimum viable product, which is the inaugural launch of our metaverse, right after that in October. So that gets us to October. It sounds like a long time away. It's right around the corner. And there's a massive amount of work that we're doing to get there. On the development side, between product, which has 11 full-time people on it, and on the development side, we have 15 people on it. So there's almost 26 people working around the clock to meet this time frame. We're talking about 800-900 hours a week of man hours to get this done. So lots going on, and a lot that you're going to see the product of as we begin to kind of release things that will be happening. And this is all going to come fast and furious. So get ready for it. The second big category in our critical path is our ethos and commitment to deliver value to the community. I know many of you have seen cryptic things going on in our Discord and messages relating to Project Skyfalls, our elusive Avatar 1273 bopping around our world, and various other things. I can tell you that Clarity is coming around the corner. I won't hint to more than that, but it's right around the corner. So you'll begin to start seeing clarity on that, perhaps as early as next week. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And all of this is going to come to make a lot of sense. And all of this is focused on our Genesis community. So super excited about what's about to come, and I know you will be too. With that, we are also still working on engagement within the community, committees, interactions, and other formats to really get people that want to be engaged. And again, that will come over the course of the next 30 days as we're preparing for that ramp up. The third category is the MVP, or the launch of our platform. I can tell you that our intention is that shortly after the horse drop and the horse reveal, you will be able to do a variety of things, and the game will begin. So you'll be able to trade, pinhook, syndicate, develop land into farms, and begin the staking process. So all of the game mechanics that are foundational to the platform and to the game, we anticipate will be live with the inaugural launch of our platform in October. And that's what we're playing for, that's what we're gaming for, and we're hopeful that that will be the case. I personally am very involved on the development calls. We have them every day, and it's working through a lot of the game theory. It's working through a lot of the user interfaces, how things are going to work, prioritizing functionality. Super, super exciting stuff. There are a few tweaks to the model already that we'll begin sharing as we begin to kind of lock things down, which is going to come very soon. Finally, the fourth prong in our critical path is raising additional capital. What I can tell you is we anticipate all of that going live within the next 30 days. We are in discussions with several VCs that have an interest in prospectively investing with us. We have a crowdfunding proposal as well. And I can't give you more clarity on that. I wish I could. But we're hopeful that that all comes live over the course of the next 30 days. It becomes more relevant to us right now with ETH at the level that it's at. We want to be able to plan our capital requirements and have a little cushion. We don't need the capital to get to the next drop, but it would be nice to have a little bit of a cushion. I recently published an article on Medium, which was posted to my Twitter account, which if you don't follow, I encourage you to follow. It's also reposted to the Silks account that really talks about what's going on in this environment and how it affects NFTs. And the big takeaway from the article, which I think is important for everybody to understand, is unlike most economies where people earn the native currency and people buy and sell goods and services in the same native currency, Ethereum has not gotten there, right? So we buy and sell our assets in Ethereum, but the people that actually create the assets are being paid in US dollars. And until that matures, where the cryptocurrency that's native to the assets and to our game are also used to fund the external economy that's supporting it. And it's not just us, it's everybody in the space. We will continue to see that disconnect and a need for either maintaining certain levels of fiat or raising outside capital to support our needs until we see stability. So that's all I have for you today. Hopefully this provided some insight into how we see the market, where we are on our timeline, and all the good things to come, which I'm expecting again next week. Next week I'm hopeful that we have some things to share with the community that are new and different than where we're at right now. So with that, I'm happy to take some questions from the audience, from our community. Squid, Ben?
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, raise your hand and we'll throw you up here.
Anyone?
Yeah, we'll give it a. There we go.
What's up, Adam?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Thanks for having me again. So the 5K avatar drop is, are you saying that next week we'll know more about the utility or how that's going to happen?
No, what I'm saying is next week we anticipate providing more clarity around a lot of the cryptic messaging that's been going on, that you'll have more clarity around that. With regards to the other 5,000 avatars, we are still working on our strategy. Our intention is to have a formed strategy, to have the technology and marketing to support that strategy, to go live in 30 days.
Okay.
And it might happen before then, but that's our target.
And part of that strategy, is it deciding on what utility for the next 5K, or has that?
No. I want to be clear about this. I'm sorry that I didn't clarify it earlier. I have always said that our intention was to keep this collection intact and to provide the same utility across the Genesis Avatar collection, which means that the balance of the collection, when it's sold, will have similar value and utility to the original distribution. So this is just an extension of the drop. There may be different characteristics associated with how the drop takes place, which we have not firmed up yet. We've also not firmed up the pricing yet and how we're going to do that. We haven't firmed up whether there will be special entitlements to the existing community, and whether if you're a holder of an avatar, there may be additional benefits in being able to access this collection in a more favorable way. We're working on all of that. It's a very, very ginger process to come up with the right strategy to protect the value of our collection, to protect our community, and to ensure that the value that comes from the growth in our community offsets any other potential impact that releasing the balance of the collection has. But our intention as of right now is for this collection to have the same rights and benefits as the first half of the collection.
So right now